Hello, Chris from My Stamp Lady. I'm here to show you how I did this little package bag. And it was the bag, it starts out as one of the Tag-A-Bag flat gift bags. They showed this at Stampin' Up's convention last summer, and I usually give a little treat around Christmas time to like bus drivers and secretary at school and stuff. And I like to make a little package that's kind of cute. So this is going to be my fudge package this year, make my homemade fudge. And we'll get started with the wonderful wreath image and then the expressions thinlet to do the Mary. To start with my bag base, I'm going to pull in my Simply Scored, and I'm going to place it upside down with the flatter end up, there we go, up against the two gates here. And I'm going to score it at 1 inch over here, and it's 5 inches wide, so I'm going to drop back an inch at 4 inches and then rotate it and score it again at 1.5 inches. So this is 1.5 inches and 1 inch and 1 inch. So once you've scored it, I'm just going to fold those lines just to make them a little bit more pronounced. There we go. Okay, I'm going to take a pair of scissors and cut up here at the bottom, up to the score line, and cut up to the bottom, up to the score line. And then I need to trim off just a little bit off the bottom, just so it's an open bag. And you could obviously most certainly do this with a trimmer or a paper cutter. For video saking, I'm going to do it right here just with my scissors. Okay, and just so it's open. There we go. And this bag has the fun little chevron pattern in it, so we don't have just a plain bag, but a bag with a pattern. So now I open that up, and I take those 1 inch score lines, and then the original fold works as a gusset in the side. So look at that. There's that side, and let's do the other one, and this side, and I'm going to take the original fold and push it to the inside so that it works like a gusset. And then on my bottom, we'll take the two end flaps, fold that up, the other side, fold that up, and over, and look at this. Your bag turns from just a flat bag into a fun gusseted bag. So now I can put some glue. I'm going to use my liquid glue. You could use sticky strip would work too. This is a thin enough paper, even the regular little snail might work. But let's just close that up. Flaps over each other, seal that together. I'm going to push my hand down in there and put the flaps down inside. Okay, to give my bag a little bit of structure inside, this is just a piece of the backing that comes from when I order designer series paper, that really thin card chipboard that comes in there. And so I cut it to 1 3/4 inch by 2 3/4 inch, just to give my bag a little bit more structure there at the bottom. So then I'm just going to fold over the top, and there's the bag part. Okay, now we're going to decorate it. I am going to take one of the doilies from the little doily set that you can buy. I can't remember the official name for it, but I'll have it on my blog, mystamplady.com. You can go there and see that. And then I took a length of the burlap, there we go, the burlap ribbon trim. I made the notched edge, and you can just make that by folding it in half and trimming that up. And let's put that, oh, before I do that though, sorry. This is a piece of the Season of Style designer series paper. It's going to tie together my white doily. It's got the crumb cake in there to bring in my bag, and then the little bit of red to bring that in there. So let's place this first. I want that to go there. And you could either cut off this little extra part here, or I'm just decided I'm just going to fold it over. And then I'm just going to take my trim, and I'm going to fold that over to the back side. Little stapler and staple that. That's just the easiest way. I know it's not going to come apart, and it's all held there. So now I just need to work on the wreath part. Let's bring in my paper and ink up. Let's ink up the wreath. This is Old Olive, and that's Old Olive in the paper. So there we go. I'm going to cut this out with the circle framelits, this part there. And for the inside wreath, I'm going to use the fourth one down. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'll line that up like that. And while I run that through, I can do the third one down just to make my cherry cobbler. I can do the third one down to make my cherry cobbler mat for that. So here we go. Let's go run that through the Big Shot. I have to put another acrylic pad on there, and then I'll run that out, that out. Now I'm going to just mount this wreath onto the cherry cobbler background. And I want that center because I want to tie my ribbon around it. So I'm using the second one in. I pulled up, not the smallest, but the next one up. And I'm going to just, I've already layered my wreath and my cherry cobbler cardstock, and I'm setting that. And I decided the center, I just see I have a little bit of the wreath kind of poking out into the center, and so I figured that was centered enough, so I'll run this through the Big Shot. There you go. Look at that. I have a fun wreath, and I didn't have to cut it all out. Now the next step I did, and I'm not going to do it for my video's sake just because it takes too long to dry, but I used the red, the cherry cobbler dazzling diamonds to put some of the berries in there, and it takes a good time to dry, half hour or so, so I'm just going to skip that step and add it when I'm all done. But I want to do my Mary from my Dazzling Details. I'm sorry, from the Expressions Thinlet, which also comes with Love and Thankful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little piece of wax paper. It's really not hard to get your word out of the Thinlet, but the wax paper just adds a little like non-stick in there, and it just drops out. And so I love that part about it. So I'm lining this up. I have my word Mary. Make sure I'm lining it up with the red glimmer paper underneath. Pull that off. Look at that. It just like non-stick. There it is. And if for some reason that the Thinlits are a little thinner, if yours does not release right away, I'm going to pull off that wax paper. You can either run it through again or add a little shim. I have so far not had a problem just running it through with my magnet. Okay, I'm back and I have all the little spots taken out of there, the E and the Y and the R and stuff. So now I'm going to pull this back in, and we're going to pretend that I have my little Dazzling Details on there already. I'm going to throw a piece of cherry cobbler seam binding, and I'm going to have that tie over a length of the Whisper White ribbon here. Go. And I'm just going to tie a knot. So let's just tie a knot over this. Oops, sorry, got to put that down underneath there. Had it in the wrong spot. And I'm also going to take in a little bit of the cherry cobbler baker's twine and lay that down, and now tie my cherry cobbler, tie this seam binding just into a knot. I have the Whisper White ribbon in there, the cherry cobbler ribbon, and my twine. I'm going to kind of move the twine to the top here, set my Mary down, and then I'm going to just tie the cherry cobbler, the baker's twine into a bow around my Mary. Tie it into a knot first, just like that. Let me pull the Mary down. There we go. So I just have a knot right there tying around my little Expression Thinlet piece, and then I'll tie it into a bow above it. Okay, there we go. I've got my ribbons tied. I've got them kind of shortened up a little bit. You know, you can kind of play with your tails and stuff to get them to sit how you want. And so then the last step is just to add this to the bag. And I decided to do that with a glue gun. It just works the quickest. So I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue right there. Pull my bag up. There we go. Figure out where I want that, and I'll put it right there. And just press that down into place. And when it's glued, or cool, it'll be glued in place. So I'm going to pull this one back in because it has the little Dazzling Details already on there and dried. But that's how you take a flat bag, make it into a gusseted bag, and then decorate it for your holiday giving. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me, Chris at mystamplady.com, and thanks for watching.